Namaste yogis. Thank you so much for joining me today. In today's class we will do a gentle hip opening flow that is great to do first thing in the morning when you wake up to awaken your body, or right before bed to prepare the body for rest, or any time that you feel locked up or tense and tight in the hips, maybe after work, to release some of that tension. For this class, you will need 2 blocks. If you don't have any yoga blocks, I highly recommend getting a pair of yoga blocks. I prefer the cork ones over the foam ones because they are sturdier and don't have as much give, but it's really up to you. If you don't have any blocks right now, you can use big books, or for the beginning pose, you can use a blanket instead. The beginning pose will be a supported fish pose, a nice gentle heart opener to start releasing some of that tension in the neck and shoulders right away. So if you want to use a blanket, it can be any blanket. You roll it up like this, lengthwise, and you're going to place it on your yoga mat and scoot your seat all the way to the edge of the blanket, and then lower yourself down so that your entire spine and your head is on the blanket. From here you can either extend the legs out long, or if you want to get into the inner thighs right away, you can place the soles of the feet together. For Supta Baddha Konasana, and if you want a little more opening in the front of the chest, you can bring the arms into cactus arms. This might be too intense right now to start out, so if that feels quite grippy and intense, you can find a space in between cactus and arms extended, and then close the eyes and breathe here. If you like to use blocks instead, you can bring 1 block near your shoulder blades and 1 block under your head. For most of us, the block under the shoulders on the medium setting and the one under the head on the tallest setting. If you're just starting out with your yoga practice, or you have a lot of tension in your neck and shoulders, maybe on the lowest setting under the shoulders and the middle setting under the head, just finding that proportion, so the one under the shoulders being lower than the one underneath the head. So play with that, those options, and make sure you find the right spot for the one under your shoulders. You want the one under the shoulders to be about right where the bottom edge of your sports bra is if you're a girl, and if you are not a girl, you will have to experiment with the placement. You will know if it's too high because it'll feel crunched in your shoulders, so your shoulders will be up by your ears. You will know if it's too low if you feel like you're dumping all into the low back and not really feeling the opening in the middle back. The one under the head should be standing firmly in all 4 corners and not tipping or tilting. So once you find the placement that feels good for you, extend the arms out wide, palms facing up, close the eyes, and begin connecting to your breath in and out through the nose. Taking note of your breath to start class, without judging or trying to change anything, simply observing your breath, noticing where in your body the breath is moving, if there are any areas it's not moving. Noticing the quality of your breath. Is it short and shallow? Or is it deep and smooth? You can even count your inhale and your exhale and compare the length. Also noticing if there are any pauses in the breath. And then see if you can lengthen your breath to a 4 count in and a 4 count out. Finding an equal, smooth breath, but without forcing or straining. Notice if, when you take your breath in, if you feel any restriction somewhere. Noticing if you're holding on somewhere or gripping. And see if you can soften it into that with every exhale. Letting go a little bit more. Focusing your awareness into your heart center. So imagine that on your inhale, all the breath is flowing into the center of the heart, expanding into all 4 directions, front, back, and either side. And then on the exhale, softening, taking up that space you created, releasing your weight onto the block, letting go a little bit more. If you feel that your body is beginning to release and you're ready to take it a little bit further, if you're on blocks, you can begin to move the hands up towards over your head, but make sure you keep the back of the hands down on the ground. So slowly moving them up. If you feel a restriction, you reach a spot where you can't move the hands any further without them lifting off, you pause there. Deepen your breath. Take several rounds of deep, equal breath, then see if you can get the body to release. Keeping the back of the neck long. Allowing the shoulders to be heavy. Take 3 more big breaths, all for yourself right here. If you like, you can set an intention at this time for your practice. Maybe that intention can be to let go of resistance. And then moving very mindfully and slowly, you can roll yourself off your blocks. If you're on the blanket, rolling off to one side, removing your props, keeping them close by. And then gently making your way into a wide-legged child's pose. Maybe the knees are as wide as the mat if it feels good. If your knees are sensitive, you can take your rolled up blanket and place it behind your knees. So that'll offer a little bit of cushion for the knees and the hips. And then extend the arms forward. Forehead can move towards the mat or a block. I'm a big fan of using props to help support the body, because when the body feels supported, it can open up and release. So find what's right for you. And then take an inhale to really crawl the fingertips forward, lengthening throughout the entire spine. And then exhale, release. See the open mouth. Release the shoulders. Elbows are on the mat, forehead on the mat. Allowing the hips to be heavy. Maybe finding some gentle movement side to side in your hips to settle them down. You can also rock left to right on your forehead to massage the forehead, releasing any tension that's there. And then return to your equal, steady breath, 4 counts in, 4 counts out. On the next inhale, coming up slightly, walk your hands over to the left side of the mat. Maybe the right hand can be on top of the left if that's comfortable. Keep your right hip very heavy. Maybe gently pressing into the right hand to increase the stretch in the right side body. Using your breath, imagining your breath is pushing out the right side ribs, creating space and opening there. On the next inhale, come up slightly, walking through center, over to the other side, opposite hand on top, exhale, folding, releasing the forehead down, allowing the left hip to stay very heavy, maybe gently pressing into the left hand without forcing, creating that opening with your breath. Inhale, coming up, moving to the center, maybe tenting the fingertips here, and exhale, pressing your chest down a little bit more. One more time, releasing into the center. And then inhale, coming up to tabletop position. Bring your knees together, tuck all 10 toes, and begin walking your hands back towards your legs. Resting your palms on your thighs, stretching the bottoms of the feet. You can close the eyes here, breathing into the sensation. This might feel quite intense, so see if you can commit to stay with it. Breathing into the sensation. Release the shoulders. Soften the muscles in your face. One more big inhale in. And exhale, moving forward. And plant your hands and gently tap the tops of your feet down into the mat. And then moving into a tabletop position, hands and knees, making sure you stack your shoulders right over your wrists, spreading your fingers as wide as you can, pressing into fingertips, knuckles, and palms. And then your knees will be slightly behind your hips. And we will warm up our spine with a few rounds of cat-cow. Make sure you keep the low belly drawing in and up to protect the low back. On the inhale, reach the heart forward, head and tailbone up. Exhale, press into your hands, dome the upper back, chin to chest, navel to spine. Inhale, heart reaching forward, gaze up, stretch the throat. Exhale, rounding, chin to chest, tuck the tailbone. Keep flowing with your breath. And maybe close the eyes if it feels good, really focusing on every part of the movement, feeling it out. moving slowly. If it feels good, you can add in some movement. Maybe sticking out the right hip, looking over the right shoulder for the hip, and then over to the other side. Flowing side to side for a few rounds of breath. And then combining the movement to circling the torso. Big full range of motion circles. Closing the eyes and feeling every part of the movement. And then reversing direction. Don't worry about what this looks like. Just letting your feelings guide you into what the body needs. And coming back to center. And keeping your hips stacked over your knees, begin to walk the hands out, moving into Anahatasana, puppy pose, reaching your chest and forehead towards the mat. Maybe chest and chin reach towards the mat. Allowing the back of the heart to melt down. No forcing or straining here. If you want a little more of an opening, you can tent the fingertips, pressing your chest towards the mat, keeping the forearms off the mat. And then very mindfully either walk the hands back in or slide onto your belly to come out of the pose, being mindful of the shoulders. Come back to a tabletop position. And we're going to move into downward facing dog. But keep the knees bent as long as possible while moving into downward facing dog. On the exhale, lift the hips up and back, keep the knees bent. Lift the hips as high as you can, find length in the side body. And then from here, begin to straighten out the knees. And they don't have to be completely straight. If your legs, your hamstrings are tight, your hips are tight, you can keep a bend in the knees. Sending the hips high. You can pedal out your feet, bending one knee at a time, finding some movement in your first downward facing dog. Maybe moving the hips side to side, finding the side body stretch. Once more here. And then finding your downward facing dog. Shoulders are relaxed. Head is heavy. You can shake it yes and no. On the next inhale, lift your right leg up, keeping the hips square. Exhale, step the right foot through between the hands. Bring the back knee down for a low lunge. You can scoot the right foot forward a little bit more, grabbing your blocks if you have them. I like to keep the back toes tucked for the beginning to set up the proper alignment. If you don't have blocks, you can press your hands on top of your knees. This will help to elevate the heart. If you do have blocks, you can place the hands on the blocks, drawing the right hip back, left hip forward. Once you have that alignment, you can untuck the toes if it feels good. Drawing the low belly in and up, lifting the chest. And I like to walk my blocks back so that they're right underneath my shoulders. That puts a little more of the weight onto the left hip, which is what we're trying to stretch here. Press into the top of the left foot and make sure you keep some weight in the right heel as well, keeping your right knee stacked over the ankle. pressing into the right heel and right big toe. Energetically drawing your inner thighs towards one another to help stabilize the pose. You can stay here. Inhale, reach the arms up, interlacing your fingers for Kali Mudra, all fingers except for the pointer finger. Keep drawing the navel in and up. Keep reaching up and out of the rib cage. See if you can get your biceps behind the ears. And then from here, if you'd like, you can move into a gentle back bend. Lift the chest up, press the hips forward, reach up through the pointer fingers. Keep lifting the heart, lengthening the side body. Gaze up if it feels good. Exhale, the right hand releases, left arm stays up. Place your right hand on top of a block to the outside of the mat. Reach the left hand up and over for side body stretch. Keep pressing the left hip forward and down. Spiral your chest towards the ceiling and look up if it doesn't bother your neck. If it bothers your neck, you can look down. Inhale, coming up with the arms. Exhale, frame your foot, maybe hands on the block if you have them. Extending the front knee, we'll move into Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Flex the right toes, you can scoot the right heel forward a little bit. Placing your hands on the blocks, and you can play with the different heights of the blocks here. So maybe starting out on the highest setting and really focusing on the alignment of the pose. Drawing the right hip back, left hip forward. Press your right heel down into the mat. Draw all 5 toes towards the face, especially the pinky toe. And pretend like you're pressing forward through the ball of the foot on the right side. Your left hip is stacked over the left knee. Reach the heart forward. Think about a cow spine here. So keep the low belly drawing in and up, heart reaching forward, tailbone reaching back and up. You can stay here in a static hold or flow with the breath for a few rounds. Every inhale, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, folding. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Last time, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And then we'll flow with the breath for a few rounds. Inhale to low lunge. Lift the heart, hips pressing down. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, half splits. And then rebend into the front knee. Move your blocks out of the way. Plant your hands, tuck the back toes. Step back, either flowing through Vinyasa or straight to downward facing dog. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, step the foot through between the hands. Bring the back knee down. Low lunge. Using your blocks, if you use them on the first side. Maybe keeping the back toes tucked first to set up your pose. Drawing right hip forward, left hip back. And then maybe untucking the toes. Pressing into the top of the foot. Engaging the right glute. Lift the heart up. Maybe walking blocks back or placing your hands on your knee here. Pressing into the left big toe and some weight in the left heel as well. Staying here, reach the arms up. Kali Mudra with the hands, biceps behind the ear. Keep pressing the right hip forward and down, and lift up through the pointer fingers. Maybe moving into a slight back bend here, drawing the inner thighs towards one another to stabilize the pose. Exhale, the left hand down, right arm reaches up and over. Finding your side body stretch on the second side. Keep reaching up through the right fingertips, keeping that arm active. Active line of energy from the right knee all the way to the right fingertips. Spiraling the chest open. You can look down if it bothers your neck. Inhale, coming up with the arms for low lunge. Exhale, framing the front foot with your blocks if you have them. If you don't have blocks, you can use fingertips on the mat or hands on big books if you have some big books you can use. Setting up the alignment first. So drawing the left hip back, right hip forward, keeping the right hip stacked over the right knee, flexing all 5 toes towards your face. Press your left heel down into the mat and reach the heart forward. Draw the navel in and up, long spine. So think about the length of the spine here over rounding and reaching your head towards your knee and your shin. Draw the left hip up and back and find your cow spine. Hold here or flow with your breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, folding. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Last time, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, folding. And then flowing with the breath, inhale to low lunge. Lift the heart, hips down. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half splits. And then rebend into the front knee. Move your blocks out of the way. Plant your hands. Tuck the back toes. Step back, flow through your vinyasa or straight to down dog. Elbows in, gaze slightly forward in chaturanga. Strong legs pressing into the tops of the feet and upward facing dog. Lifting the hips from the core up and back. Downward facing dog. Move into half pigeon from here. If half pigeon does not feel good for you, you can move onto your back for a figure 4 stretch. If half pigeon is okay with you, you can follow along with me. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, right knee behind the right wrist. Keep flexing the right toes. And we'll take a moment to set up the pose here. So the closer the foot is to the left hand, the more intense the stretch is going to be. So if you know your hips are tight, you can decrease the angle of your right knee. Keep the back toes tucked first, scoop the knee back an inch, and then energetically drawing your feet towards one another. See how that lowers your hip down. You can untuck the toe. If your right hip is still high off of the mat, you can place a block or your blanket underneath the hip to support it. Tent your fingertips, walk them as close to your hips as you can. Inhale, lift your heart, proud pigeon. Exhale, begin walking the hands out and start folding forward, forehead towards the mat or on the block. When you arrive, close the eyes, Scanning the body for any tension, gripping or clenching. Use your breath to soften, sending your inhale straight into the center of the sensation. And on the exhale, soften, release down a little bit more. Making sure the tension doesn't move to a different area in the body. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing the space between the eyebrows, and relaxing the shoulders. 3 more big breaths right here. Every inhale, breathing into the sensation. Every exhale, sinking down a little bit more. Inhale, slowly walk the hands back in. Plant them, tuck the back toes. Inhale, lift the right leg up and back for 3-legged dog. Maybe moving that hip to release. And then exhale the right leg down. Preparing for the second side. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, left knee behind the left wrist. And again, the closer this foot is towards the front of the mat, the more intense the stretch is on the outer hip. Keeping the back toes tucked, scoot the right knee back, energetically drawing your feet towards one another. Maybe using your blanket or your block to cushion the left hip if it's high off the ground. Taking your time to set up this pose. You want to feel supported so that you can open here. And then untuck the toes, lift the heart, walk the fingertips in, lift the heart up, press the hips down before folding forward, keeping the length in the front body. Forehead on the block or on the mat. And then once more, closing the eyes, scanning your body for tension or resistance. Use your breath to soften into the sensation. Sometimes I like to say positive affirmations to myself here so that the hips can release and feel safe. So you could say something to yourself like, I am safe, I am protected, it is safe to release. Taking 3 more full rounds of breath here. Every exhale, letting go a little more, sinking into the mat. Maybe open mouth, exhale. Let it go. And then inhale, walk the hands in. Take your time here, tuck the back toes, lift the left leg up and back, 3-legged dog. Maybe bending the knee, releasing the hip. And then coming onto the knees, preparing for Shavasana. So if your hips are talking to you right now or feel a little sore, you can release them by widening your legs as wide as the mat, Your feet as wide as the mat. Hands are behind you. You can windshield wiper your knees side to side. And then when you're ready, lower yourself all the way down, maybe hugging one knee into the chest. And then extending the legs out long, at least as wide as the mat. Arms off the mat, palms facing up. Scanning the body one final time for any residual tension. And using your breath to release. Inhaling into the core of the sensation and exhaling, letting go. Relaxing all the muscles in your face, the space between the eyebrows, your jaw. Shoulders are heavy and relaxed. Hips are heavy, sinking down. Your entire weight into the mat, into the earth. No more need to hold yourself. Take rest. Shavasana. Slowly beginning to deepen your breath. Wiggling your fingertips and your toes. Draw your legs together, reach your arms overhead. Give yourself a full body stretch. Inhale, stretching long. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Hugging your knees into your chest. Maybe rocking gently side to side before rolling onto your favorite side. Pausing there for a moment. Observing how you feel. Enjoying the stillness. Keeping the eyes closed, coming up to a seated position with as little effort as possible. Finding a cross-legged seat with a tall spine. Join your palms in front of your heart. Lift your chest to meet your thumbs. Release the shoulders down. Gently lowering your chin, honoring your intention you set for practice, if you set one, and thanking yourself for making time for you to come to your mat. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide your practice today. With love and gratitude from my heart to yours. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining in today. Until next time.